our first act is stand-up by our brand new member, Eric Esteban. Take it away, Eric!
Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you, Model Majority. And thank you so much. It's an honor to be able to write sketches and perform with you guys and be a part of this historic show to kick off Asian American Pacific Islander History Month. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be a part of all you talented, crazy, funny people. It's just so much fun, and it's been the joy of my quarantine to work with y'all. It has been fun, and actually, when I did a stand-up set on your last show at the beginning of quarantine, and now this one, this is my second official show in New York, because Zoom counts. Right? Zoom counts. So this is my first, this is my second show in New York, and I get to kick off your guys' Asian American History show. It's pretty incredible. Because we're all here because of history, right? Asian American history, we want to celebrate it. And we don't get to see ourselves in stuff like this. Like when we're growing up, we didn't get to see ourselves in sketch comedy. We had to imagine it. We didn't get to see even people who look like us. Like I remember the first time I saw somebody who looked like me was in the Brady Bunch during the special episode, Grand Canyon episodes, when I went on vacation to the Grand Canyon episodes. And then Bobby and Cindy got lost. And then they ended the first episode with a cliffhanger like, Bobby, Cindy. And you're like, oh, damn, Bobby and Cindy are lost. And then out of the canyon crevices came this little brown face. And I'll remember his name. I'll remember his name till the day that I die. Jimmy Pacaya, the little Native American that saved the day in the Brady Bunch episodes. It was Jimmy Pacaya. It was his brown face. And I was like, he was like hero of the episode. I was like, oh my God, yes, he's the hero. But he was Native American. And that doesn't work. I'm Filipino, so it's not really, it's kind of representation matters because he kind of looks like me, but it wasn't really me, right? But then I saw Last Dragon. And I think every Filipino American man in the moment remembers when they saw Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon and Ernie Reyes Jr. and his like 8-year-old self jumped off the stage with a double kick and kicked them 2 dudes, and you were like, oh my God, he looks like me. Yes. And then you're like, oh my gosh, he's Filipino? And then I found out he was Filipino, and from that day on, I told everybody that Ernie Reyes Jr. was my cousin. Back then you couldn't Google shit, you didn't know, you could lie. So I said Ernie Reyes Jr. was my cousin. And then as I got older, and you know how Ernie Reyes Jr. aged, right? I would tell girls, I'd be like, yeah, I was in Sidekicks and Last Dragon. I changed my name to kind of like, I didn't like the fame, so I am Ernie Reyes. I've told that lie a couple times. It worked too. It was pretty good. I mean, it was a fun thing to be able to do when before Google, you could assume different identities of Asian superstars, and people would just assume because they don't really check. They didn't check, so I was Ernie Reyes Jr. on some dates. It was pretty cool. Okay, I don't want to take up too much time because I know that the sketches are coming and now you're all excited to be, but I'm going to tell you something that I'm a little guilty, little pleasure as grown up, a brown post 9/11. I cannot wait to racially profile some older white men. I cannot wait. No, let me accentuate that. I cannot fucking wait to racially profile some white dudes, okay? Because I'll be like, I might, clutch my wallet a little bit closer at the checkout line, or maybe I cross the street when I see an older white dude, and, I might roll up my window when I see an older white dude on the street, kind of thing, and they'll be like, they might get offended. And I'll be like, excuse me, sir, but I just saw your cousin storming the Capitol, so no, I'm gonna assume the worst, okay? I don't want y'all to tell me anything about destructive property or anything like that. Y'all rubbed poop in Nancy Pelosi's office. So you've lost that debate. Come on. And if the MAGA terrorists aren't the dumbest of all terrorists in the history of terrorism, it'd have been like if the 9/11 terrorists, right before they got on the plane, were like, okay, let's go live on Instagram. Okay, we're live. Let's go. We're about the plane. And I'm like, are you why would you go live when you're about to commit a crime? Like there was this lady, the Jenna Ryan, the millionaire lady who took a private plane to the protest, right? And then she went live and she's like, we're storming the Capitol, live or die. And then she switches the camera to selfie and she's like, and don't forget, it's Jenna Ryan, realty. This lady had an aggressive real estate ad. Like this is the most aggressive real estate ad in the history of real estate ads. Like you're storming the Capitol, committing a capital crime, and you've decided that this is your point to like be, this is where I'm at. This is where we're gonna be. You're with me. Let's go storm the Capitol, and then we'll get you a nice little condo. This is ridiculous. But then the one that takes the cake, and the one that I know will always be the one that I'm like white privilege exists. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts because of the existence of Mr. Abercrombie Chewbacca. And I know that's not his real name, but y'all know who the hell I'm talking about when I say Abercrombie Chewbacca. Because Abercrombie and Fitch was that store in the mall that always made me feel uncomfortable with that shirtless white dude. And he was that shirtless Abercrombie white dude with the Chewbacca hat on, with the Viking hat on. And then when he got arrested, his mommy wrote a note to the judge and said that he needed organic food in the prison because his tummy is sensitive. Now, remember I said white privilege exists. And this dude is proof positive that white privilege exists, because you want to know what? Guess who got organic food in prison? Abercrombie Chewbacca. He got organic food in prison. It makes me mad. It makes me mad. Like all this stuff, like the Stop Asian Hate and all the elderly people who are getting attacked, and you're watching all these videos and you're like, golly. Like it's terrifying, but it's also humbling, and it's also like infuriating, right? Like I'm getting mad every time I see it. But except for the one where you start out and this lady, the lady she's screaming and she's holding a 2x4 in her hand and you don't know what she's screaming about, and you see that she's been hit and she's in distress and you're like, oh no, not another one. But then they pan over to the racist white dude in the stretcher that she beat down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that made me feel so good. It made me feel so good. Oh my God, it was bleeding out his face because she was beating him down. And all I wish about that footage was that they had the footage of the actual beatdown, because that would have been my profile pic. It still would be my profile pic now. They just going to town on him, going to town. Now, speaking of going to town, we went to town the past couple of weeks writing a whole bunch of sketches based on Asian American history, and I'm so proud to say that one of my jokes that I've been telling for years, I turned it into a sketch, and it's an honor for me to debut it on this show with Model Majority. And without further ado, because I could ramble on, I could go on, I'll do my whole hour if you want me to. I'll do a whole Netflix special if you want. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to stop with some of the new material and kick it off with the sketches. Let's bring some sketches on to this show. Let's do it.
Yeah.